ஆடும்பரிவே சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய் தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனியானை சகோதரனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கு இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரை எந்தாய் போற்றி, பாகம் பண்ணு ராணாய் போற்றி, பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரணே போற்றி, சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனே போற்றி, அண்ணாமலை அம்மன்னா போற்றி, கண்ணாரமுத கடலே போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி, கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளக்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பரங்கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் மிகச்சிறப்பாக நிகழ்த்தி வருகின்ற பெரிய புராணத் தொடர் ஆங்கிலத்தில் நம்முடைய அன்பிற்குரிய கத்தார் சரவணன் தம்பதியினருடைய நல்ல ஆதரவினாலே மிகச்சிறப்பாக நிகழ்ந்து கொண்டு வருகின்ற பாங்கில் இன்றைய தினம் தொடர்ந்து அந்த சிந்தனையை மேற்கொள்வதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கிறது. Mrs. and Mr. Saravanan, they are very keen to propagate Periyapurnam and the greatness of all 63 Nayanmars. To the people who may not be well versed with Tamil, who may not be able to read and understand Periyapurnam, they should also be aware of the greatness of our Nayanmars. The greatness lies in the devotion and not only in devotion, in the discipline of Saivism. See, it is not very difficult to call oneself as a Saivite, but it is very, very necessary and essential one to adhere to the principles of Saivism. If I say I am a Saivite, then I should obey, I should abide by the laws of Saivism. Are there laws for Saivism? Yes, there are laws to be followed, to be adhered to. See, just by going to a Shiva temple, you cannot claim yourself to be a Saivite. But there are other disciplines to be followed by you if you want to call yourself as a Saivite. Nobody can claim that I am a true follower of Lord Shiva unless otherwise they know the basic principles of Saivism and they must attach values to the principles. For example, in Saivism, if you go to a Lord Shiva temple and if you are inside the temple, there are a lot of rules to be followed before you leave the temple. You have to utter the 5-lettered mantra. Besides washing your hands and legs before entering the temple, your thoughts should be pinned down to Lord Shiva, and you must definitely avoid any chatting with anybody inside the temple. Nothing should be thought of except Lord Shiva's grace and his fame. And you are also supposed to recite Padiyams graced by our 4 mentors, Thiru Gnanasambandar, Thiru Gnanasambandar, Sundarar and Manikavasar. Unless otherwise you recite a padiham, your worship is not at all complete. Your worship will be completed only if you utter the padiham. Uttering a padiham, just not reciting, but you must recite it with a love, great love for Lord Shiva. So there are rules to be followed and obeyed. Then only the expected results will be achieved. So many people are saying, I am going to temple for a long period, nothing has come to me. So many people, you may hear that people saying like this. See, we have to follow the guidelines and then you must look for the results. Performing a puja doesn't mean that sprinkling some flowers and uttering some mantras. Not at all. How you are devoting your thoughts, it matters very much. Your attention, concentration should be 100% oriented. You should not have any other thought other than Lord Shiva. Any movement, any deed you are doing inside the temple should be pertaining to the Shiva Puja or the prayer. So, if you just follow the story of 63 Nayanmars, then you will understand, even though we cannot achieve to their level, we have to follow the Saivat rules in a temple or in a puja. The Nayanmars, they are 100%, but nobody asks us to be 100%. It's not possible also. Let us say practical things. You cannot be, obtain 100% marks in all subjects. That is not necessary for your passing also. For pass, the 100% marks is not necessary. Even 40%, 50% will do. Likewise, the Saivat principles, we must adhere to them at least to a threshold level, to an optimum level, we have to follow. How to decide the optimum level? We have been given enough guidelines in this regard. Okay, now the whole Saivism, the whole Lord Shiva puja and Lord Shiva performance, puja performance, all these are dictated only by the rules enacted by our ancestors. Now we are very eager to get the grace of Lord Shiva to achieve so many things in life. But some people are having some elevated ideas. They are not worried about the worldly things. They aim at something more than that, and they look for the grace of Lord Shiva. All people are not praying Lord Shiva for the same purpose. If you come across so many people who are all worshipping Lord Shiva, their requirements may not be the same. Some pray Lord Shiva for the worldly things, others pray for something more than that. And above all, only a very few people perform pujas, prayers, everything to acquire His grace and Him. His grace and Him. So likewise, the requirements also differing from people to people in worship of Lord Shiva. Now coming back to our Thiru Gnanasambandar Nayanar Puranam, which we have been describing for the past 4 or 5 months. We had seen that Gnanasambandar was in Madurai, he was in Namatte. The summoned monks, Jain monks, they some or other convinced Pandyan king, and during night they lit fire to the mutt. Gnanasambandar, on seeing this, the atrocity of summoned monks, he just ordered the fire to go and set on the Pandyan king. The Pandyan king was suffering from the heat. His whole body was boiling like anything. So hot, he was not able to bear with it. He was crying. Summoned monks and others were doing a lot of things to cure him, but nothing was fruitful. Finally, as per the suggestion of Mangerkarasi, the king agreed to get treatment from Thiru Gnanasambandar. Gnanasambandar Peruman came over there and he told that he would be able to cure the Pandyan king with the grace of Lord Shiva. Jain monks didn't agree to that. They said, we will take 2 portions. The left hand side we will cure, right hand side you take care, they said. And they tried, but they were failing, and on seeing their failure, Sambandar cured the right hand side. Not only that, on the request of Pandyan king, he cured the right hand side also, left hand side and right hand side also. First he cured the right hand side, and he again cured the left hand side. And Saman monks, the Jain monks, Samanas, they were reluctant to accept their defeat, and they said they wanted to conduct some more tests to prove the truthfulness of their religion. For that, Pandyan agreed, and they cured Pandyan and others were ready for the second test, and in the second test it was decided to write the real concepts of their religion, respective religion, and to put the palm leaves in the fire. The fire should not affect the palm leaves. So, which leaves are not affected is the real religion. That was the decision they made, but alas, the 7 gurus were defeated. Only Gnanasambandar's leaves were left unburnt and were taken again from the fire without any damage. There, everybody thought that the whole fight came to an end, but Jains didn't agree and they wanted to go for one more test, the final test. They insisted that one should write the nature and true messages of religion on the leaves, and it should be placed on the river. The leaf that stayed afloat without being taken away by the downstream will be taken as the one expressing the truth. They have decided. Gnanasambandar's agreed for that, but Kolachariya told one after the other tests are going on without end. There should be an end to that. What should be the punishment to be given to the people who are defeated in this test? He asked. Being annoyed, the summoned monks came forward and told that they may be put on the kaju pillars with a sharp edge end. They are called kaju. So they agree to be punished in the impaling stake. They agreed. Everybody went to Vaigai river. On those days, Vaigai river was flooding like anything. The water was gushing, flowing with a high speed. Everybody gathered, along with the people also gathered. They wanted to know what would be the result of this test. So everybody was eager to see the result. Gnanasambandar also got into his palanquin and arrived at the banks of Vaigai river. The king also came on his horse. All people, the official people also gathered, and the king ordered, okay, you can go ahead. You can just write the truthless reality of your religion on the leaves, and you can put them on the water, which should not be carried away by the downstream of the river. That was the condition. It should afloat. And the Jains came forward that we would be doing the first contest. So they wrote something, Atti Nati, on the palm leaves, and they neared the banks of Vaigai river. They chanted some mantras and they prayed as a matter of fact. And they went and they dropped the palm leaves on the water. Vaigai was in full speed, flowing towards the sea, making roaring notes. The moment these people dropped the leaves were carried away by the downstream, and the monks were running on the banks of the river to catch them. But alas, they were washed away and not seen by anyone. With their heads down, they came back and stood before the king and told, okay, we were not able to retrace it, we were not able to take the leaves, but still the game is not over. Let Gnanasambandar prove, he was saying. At that time, Gnanasambandar beautifully composed one padiyam. Let all people live long, let the king live long, let the people live with all prosperity, and let the sky pour the rain. All these things containing, he chanted the whole songs for the entire world, not for particular community. The whole world, let it cherish, let it live happily. All living things, let them live happily. I pray Lord Shiva for these things. And in the Padiham, in 10 songs, he narrated all the important principles, important constitutional truths in that Padiham. How Padi, Pasu, Pasam, how they are linked. Why Pasu is suffering so much? What happens to Pasu when it leaves its body? What went on before the soul enters into a body? How one can use the human being to attain the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. All these things are enlisted and explained in the Padiham. Even now, Saivats, that Padiham is called Pasuram. Tirumuha Pasuram. Pasuram. It is called Pasuram. All other things are called Padiham. This one is exclusively called Pasuram. So he uttered the 10 songs to show the power of the Padiham. In the Padiham, one of the songs, Gnanasambandar uttered, Vendanum Vonguga, let the king rise, he said. Let the king rise, he said. The moment he had sung the lion, King Nedumaran, who had a hunched back, was rid of that affliction and stood straight and called Nindrasir Nedumaran. Koon Pandian, otherwise he was called, because there was a hunch on his back. That is why he was called Koon Pandian. Now the hunch was removed and the hunched back straightened out, because Gnanasambandar told Vendanum Onguga. Because of that, the king was able to understand, and others were also able to understand the power of the Parsuram at that time itself. Subsequently, this Padiyam was inscribed in the palm leaves, and Gnanasambandar took the palm leaves and just floated them on the river. What a beauty to say. The leaves were not running downstream of the river. On the contrary, it was going against the stream of upstream of the river. It was going fast. The condition is it should be afloat, but above that it goes in the opposite direction of the river. Everybody shouted with joy, and Kulacharayar on his horse, he was riding on the bank side to catch hold the leaves, and Gnanasambandar sang another Padiyam to stop it, and it stopped there. The place is now being called a Thiru. There the leaves, palm leaves stopped there. Got down from his horse, Kulacharayar went into the stream and took the leaves and he put them on his head. He was coming back to Gnanasambandar and prostrated before him and handed over the leaves to the Gnanasambandar. Gnanasambandar asked him to hand it over to King Pandya. Pandyan saw it and announced that Saivism has won other religions. Saivism has won the other religion, Saman. He ordered Kulacharayar to conduct enquiry and to pass on the punishment to the people who were responsible for setting fire to Gnanasambandar's mutt. He was saying, don't leave anybody, you just punish them who are all responsible for the firing of mud. The king passed on the orders. Subsequently, Gnanasambandar returned. The people were eyeing on him. What a great child he had come over to win over the Jains. Otherwise, what would have happened to this country? We were not able to do anything. The whole kingdom was in the grip of Jainism. Some or other we have been saved by the great child Gnanasambandar. Everybody praised him and everybody tried to take the holy ash and they smeared the forehead with the holy ash. Pandyan also prostrated before our Gnanasambandar along with the Mangair Karachiyar and requested for the holy ash. On getting the holy ash, he applied them on his forehead and joyfully he accompanied Gnanasambandar Perumal to the temple first time. He was with great joy entered the temple. Oh my Lord, how many years I have lost forgetting you. You have sent this child to save me out of this great, you have sent me, you have sent him to take me out of this great difficulties. Otherwise, I would have lost my purpose of my whole life. He was uttering and praying, and the tears were running down from his eyes on his cheeks. After worship of Lord Shiva, Alavai, everybody returned to the kingdom, and Gnanasambandar went to his mutt and he was there. The whole Madurai has changed upside down. Now people are uttering the name of Lord Shiva, and they are uttering the Lord Shiva's mantra, 5-lettered mantra. Everybody rushed towards the Alavai temple and other Shiva temples. Everybody was loving to apply holy ash on their forehead. Likewise, the whole city was glittering with the light of Thiruneer. There was a heavy demand for holy ash. People who are not able to find out Thiruneer, they were approaching and requesting others to share the Thiruneer with them. Like this, Gnanasambandar Peruman was going to temple daily, and people were worshipping him also and asking him to preach the people. Gnanasambandar preached the people the principles of Lord Shiva, Saivaneri, the postulates of Saivism, and he used to address the people with a lot of padhyams. People now were very fond of singing Gnanasambandar's padhyams, and they turned the whole city into a Lord Shiva's city. The original fame and name came back to the city. Gnanasambandar was there, and he was spending some days there. At that time, on hearing of all these things, his father, Sivakumar, came from Sirgadi to Madurai to see his son. When he approached Madurai, he directly went to Madurai temple, worshipped Alavai, and from there he went to mutt of Gnanasambandar. Some of the devotees were in the outside of the mutt, and he told them that he wanted to meet Gnanasambandar, his son. Then these people, these adiyas, rushed into the mutt and told Pillayar that his father has arrived. Pillayar immediately asked them to bring him in, and Sivakumar came in. Gnanasambandar asked him, how how about my parents? How about my father and son? How are they doing? How are they doing? He was asking. How are they doing? He was asking. The father is in front of him, but still he asked, my father and mother, how are they? He was asking. Because he meant Thoniyappar and Periyanayi as his parents. The day he drank the holy milk from Parvati, Periyanayi, both of them had become his parents. That is why Gnanasambandar had a clear idea that his parents are only Ammayappar. That is why he asked his father whether Thonipurathu Iswaranar, Periyanayi, Thoniyappar and Periyanayi were doing well. That is why he was asking. And the very famous song, Mannil Nallavannam Vajalam Vaikalum, Mannil Nallavannam Vajalam Vaikalum, Yennil Nalla Gadikku Yadumor Kuraivilai, Kannil Nallagudurum Kazhumala Valanagar, Pennil Nallal Odum Perundagai Girundade. Only David Chekadar was able to interrupt this line. Otherwise, people ordinarily telling the meaning of the song, they would not have found out. Only Chekadar found out that Gnanasambandar asked the wellness of Thoniyappar and Periyanayi. Even today, in some of the holy occasions, these songs are sung by Adiyars. So, and then the father inquired about his son, and both of them were exchanging good words, and his father was staying there for a few more days. Subsequently, Gnanasambandar Peruman wanted to visit other places in the Pandya kingdom. For a long period, he was there in Thiru, and he completed the project successfully of driving away the Jainism and to establish the principles of Saivism, and to make the people to understand and follow the principles of Saivism in true with the faith. And now the temples, Shiva temples, being flooded with the people, all these things, they were the mottos of his project. And once they have been achieved, Gnanasambandar thought of going to other places, other temples. So one day he met the king and queen and told them that I am of the idea to go and worship some of the temples in Pandya kingdom, he said. Immediately the king told, why not? Definitely we will go. I will also accompany you. But Gnanasambandar told that you have to take care of your kingdom. No, don't worry about the kingdom. People will take care of, my officers will take care. But I cannot be separated from you. I have to make darshan of you every blessed day. So I will accompany you. My queen will also come along with me. He told and got the permission. Some or other Gnanasambandar gave the permission because he didn't want to break the heart of Pandyan. So he accepted. So they started for pilgrimage, and Gnanasambandar visited Thiruparangundram, Thirupuvanam, Tiruchuriyal, Kutralam, and finally he went to Rameswaram. In Rameswaram he uttered very beautiful songs, and he also sung songs about the Eezham. And after the pilgrimage he was returning, and he wanted to go to Chola kingdom. Long days he was away from the hometown. Father has also been sent long back from Madurai. Player told him that I would be coming, don't worry, you go first. He sent him. So remembering that, he wanted to go to Sirhadi also, and then he wanted to go to some of the places in Cholanad. So Sambandar decided to visit and told his idea to Pandian. Pandian immediately told, okay, my lord, we will also come along with you. No. But Sambandar said, no, this is your kingdom. If you are away from the kingdom, again something will happen. See, we have done a lot of things to bring back Saivism here. You must supervise, you must have a close watch. People, Jains will not leave at this point. They may plan some more things. So we have to be alert. If the king is away from the kingdom, people will make us a lot of conspiracies and do damage. So let us not give room for that. You be here. Saying like that, Gnanasambandar convinced him. Even though they were unhappy about it, but they cannot go against the word of Thiru Gnanasambandar. So they decided to remain back, and Gnanasambandar continued. And when Gnanasambandar was coming towards Chola kingdom, he was going on the banks of river Mullivai. The river was in high floods, carrying all woods, sandalwood, teak woods and other woods. The boatmen, realizing that they could not ply the boats, they tied them to the banks and they made for their homes. On the other side of the river, Gnanasambandar was able to see the Tirukollambudur. He wanted to visit that temple, but how to cross the river? No boat was available and no boatman was ready to take them also. But all the devotees were actually longing to have darshan of Kollambudur. On seeing the anxiety of the devotees, Gnanasambandar immediately asked one of the devotees to untie one boat and asked everybody to get on board. Everybody got into the boat, and Gnanasambandar also got into the boat, and he was rising in a high tone, a padhiyam. To everybody's joy and wonder, the boat was moving slowly to the other side of the river. The water was flowing with force, but it was not able to affect the running of the boat. Gnanasambandar, as a matter of fact, drove the boat. He plied the boat, we must say, with his padiham. The boat was slowly moving towards the other end of the river, and they got down in the other bank. Everybody visited the temple. Gnanasambandar very beautifully he sang a padiham there, and everybody was very much pleased. From there, Gnanasambandar continued his pilgrimage, and he made to Thiru Gnanasambandar. In Thiru Gnanasambandar, he wanted to thank God because only that padiham was inscribed on palm leaves and put on the fire. Bohamartha Punmulayal, it started like that. So, since the padiham was not affected by the unscathed by the fire, he wanted to thank the Lord. So he went inside the Thiru Gnanasambandar and they prayed there. See, in Thiru Gnanasambandar padiham, he had never made a mention about Saniswaran. But how these people got the temple, a Saniswaran temple, nobody knows the real truth. Because Gnanasambandar was uttering a padiham for the Lord Shiva in Thiru Gnanasambandar. Okay. Then from there he continued from Thiru Gnanasambandar. On the way back, the Buddhas confronted him and called him for debate. Gnanasambandar didn't go in person. He ordered his disciple, best disciple, Sambandha Saranalayar, to meet the Buddha monks and do the debate. He ordered. And subsequently, Sambandha Saranalayar participated in the debate and defeated all the Buddhas. Everybody ran away from the scene. Then Sambandar proceeded along with other devotees to Tirukadayur, and from Tirukadayur, when he started, he heard the news that Navukarasar was waiting for him in Poonduruthi. Was waiting for him in Poonduruthi. Immediately he decided to go to Poonduruthi. So he asked the people bearing the palangan, come on, let's go to Poonduruthi. He was proceeding. Thirunavukarasar was in Poonduruthi. He heard that the news spread and came to him that Pillayar is coming towards Poonduruthi, and the main purpose of his visit is to have a darshan of Navukarasar. When he heard that, he immediately, Navukarasar felt some or other delicate. He was looking at Gnanasambandar as Lord Shiva himself, because he heard the news that in Madurai he completely transformed the whole town, the king, the other people into Saivism. So on hearing the victory, he was longing to see Pillayar and to have a darshan of Pillayar and to worship him. So he was planning to have a darshan of him, but that time he heard that he is coming to see him. So he decided to see Pillayar on the palanquin itself, to have a darshan in the palanquin itself. he wanted. So, what he did was, he went in disguise at the boundary of Tirupundurthi and was waiting for the palanquin to come. When the palanquin was approaching, he immediately approached the palanquin and requested one of the people who were holding the palanquin to give him the chance of bearing the palanquin. That man agreed, and Upper Swami immediately held the palanquin on his shoulder. The moment he started doing it, inside the palanquin, Playar was sitting and he felt uneasy, some uncomfortness he felt. He inquired, "Where is Upper?" He was inquiring outside. This inquiry was heard by Upper Swami himself. He cannot keep himself mum. See, when Playar was asking something, and when he heard this, how can he hide himself from him? How can he do that? So, what he did was, he just replied, "Oh my Lord, I am here bearing the palanquin," he said. The moment Playar heard about this, he jumped, virtually he jumped from the palanquin to the ground and went towards Navkar. "What is the thing? What is the thing you have done? How can you do like this?" he was asking. Navkar said, "I did the right thing. How can I show my love to my child? How can I show my love to my child? This is the right thing I have done." Both of them embraced each other and they were walking towards the temple. They worshipped the God and they were exchanging the views. Navkar inquired Gnanasambandar, "I heard a lot of things you have achieved in Madurai. Come on, I want to hear them from you. Tell me what has happened," he said. And Playar started explaining lot of things that happened in Madurai. How the Jains set fire on the mutt. How did he escape? How the king got the fever? All these things he explained, and he also explained the three debates, one for fever, the other one on fire, the third one on final on river. He explained all the things and said that only due to God's grace everything was able to be done. Nothing is in the limits of human power. Everything is in the hands of Lord Shiva. So, what all I have achieved, only Lord Shiva, he is responsible for that. His grace is responsible for that. I did everything in the name of him. He was saying like that, and he asked Sambandar, Playar asked Navkar sir, "What did you do?" Then Navkar sir was telling that he visited Kanchipuram and other places. He was explaining. Immediately Playar got the idea of going to Tondainadu, Kanchipuram and other places. But before that, he wanted to visit his native place, Sirhari. So, and after that they parted. Navkar started his pilgrimage separately, and Playar on the bank of river Kaveri, he was proceeding to visit some of the temples, and he came to Sirhari. People in Sirhari were delighted to see Gnanasambandar on his victory in the Madurai Thiru Alavai. Everybody welcomed him. His mother also came to the spot. Everybody welcomed him and everybody was full of joy. And from there, Gnanasambandar directly went to the temple and he prayed before Lord Shiva. The tears running from his eyes on his cheeks. And from there he went to the mutt and he was staying there for quite a long period. And every day he used to visit the temple and he also recited songs for Lord Shiva. One day he decided that I must go to Tondai Nadu, the northern province of Tamil Nadu. I didn't see that. I didn't have any temple visit. So I must go now. I must go to Thiruvannamalai. I must go to Tondai Nadu. All those places I have to go. So he decided and he expressed his ideas to his father. His father said, "Oh my son, I cannot be away from you. Why don't you take me also along with you?" He was asking. But Gnanasambandar convinced him, "My dad, please be here. You perform your duty here. I have to go with Adiyas to a lot of places. There are some of the other duties also to be executed by me. So I will go over there and come back," he said. Convincing his father, he started his journey. With that, let us stop here and conclude this episode. We will go ahead with the further details in our next episode. There are one or two announcements I have to make here. The first one is Gnanathiral anniversary function, 16th anniversary function. As a matter of fact, it is the commencement of 16th anniversary, completion of 15 years. To earmark the completion of 15 years, Srila Sri, the Guru Maha Sannidhanam of Dharmi Adinam, has kindly consented to grace the function with his blessings. On that occasion, 2 books are to be released by Lord Shiva's grace. One is Sundarar Devaram, another one is Thugalar Bodham. Both of them are to be released by Guru Maha Sannidhanam. You are welcome to the function. It is on 26th January at Thiruvannamalai, Vijay Balaji Tirumana Mandapam at 9 o'clock. The great Oduvar Kalaimamani Isaiperaringer Tirthaniyan Swaminathan will be giving a Tirumurai concert for about 1.5 hours. It is a great opportunity. Subsequently, Ayadi also, Oduvari Ayadi Oduvar Dharmi Adinam, he has also given consent to come over and give a concert on Sundarar Devaram. So please come to Thiruvannamalai and attend the function and get the blessings of our Guru Maha Sannidhanam. With this, I am just closing down the session with a 5-lettered mantra chanting 5 times. Kindly follow me. Tiruchitrambalam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Tiruchitrambalam. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கு இறைவா போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.